Hi everyone, welcome to the third episode of Greenworms Insider series. And today we have our colleague Mohammad Jansher. He is the Assistant Manager of Social Impact Projects. Hi Jansher.
Hi Akshay.
It was glad that I am hosting you today.
Thank you.
And by the way, how is your little princess?
She is becoming naughty these days and she's very emotionally connected with me nowadays. So I don't feel like coming all the time in the office, staying all the time in the office because of her the kind of games and the kind of activities that she does.
Good, good. So Jansher, just tell us, how did you end up coming into the Greenworms?
See, after my studies at Data Institute of Social Sciences, Hyderabad campus, I started my career as a content developer and an educator, and I worked in couple of educational institutions in Hyderabad and Calicut. Then I worked as a young fellow at the Ministry of Panchayati Raj, Government of India, in northeastern states. And from there itself, I wanted to come back to my hometown and having gained enough experience in development sector, I wanted to get exposed into the Kerala's waste management sector as well. So somehow I landed up here.
Yeah, we are glad to have you here. And just tell us, why waste management? You've been graduated from Tata Institute of Social Sciences. You get a hell lot of opportunities. But why did you choose waste management?
I did not come across anything related to waste management per se, but when I was working as a young fellow at with the National Institute of Rural Development and Panchayati Raj, I happened to observe the things. I mean the kind of waste generation that is happening around the district administration and the block administration where I was closely working with them. So I found I already knew about Greenworms and the work that they do, but I did not know deeply how often they are contributing to the society in terms of managing the waste. I often thought that it was just a kind of for the sake of environment they were doing it, but then once I landed up here, I really understood that I must be happy that not just the Greenworms is serving the environment, it also caters the needs of the society. I mean, it employs a lot of women, a lot of people engaged in the waste management sector. It is trying to formalize the sector. That is quite inspiring for me, and that strikes me here.
Right. Interesting, and that gives us a motivation of having a purposeful people who are working on a shared mission. So, in terms of your role, just tell us what's the hell is this social impact projects and how do you manage?
See, social impact projects are multi-dimensional approach which are intended to create positive impact in the communities. So in here, Greenworms, I particularly look after a few of the social impact projects. So these projects are long-term, envisioned projects which are taking care of the needs of society, the environment, and the most vulnerable sections in the society that we see around. So this is a kind of approach, holistic approach that we wanted to see the change in the society. So waste management being a necessary action that needs to be put forward. So I feel social impact projects has a lot of scope and visibility, especially when it comes to Greenworms operations.
Right. So does the social impact projects have any impact goal, and what are your priorities?
See, social impact, as I said, we are not only looking after the environment, the impact that we create in the environment, but also looking care of the people involved in the project basically. So for an example, I would say that the CONAT project that we are running, so the project locality, the community had been completely isolated from the mainstream in the waste management, and they were low income area, and people were not known about the aspects of waste and the crisis that they in their daily lives that they face, even though they are the coastal community and low income area. So we like started that project a year back, and it was understood that through our baseline service and all, I mean, people were not at all knowing about the waste management, and very few people were able to cooperate initially with us when the project was started, and the support from the the kind of institutions and all were like very minimal. So once we started and we went on doing this, and we involved the localites who are there, I mean the people from the community itself. So we involved them, we made them our formal like staffs, formal employment structure. So they found it somehow they are taking the ownership of that project. See, over a time, Greenworm should be proud about it, because the kind of interventions that we made, and now more than 98% of the people are every month they are ready to like manage their waste through this project. So, and a lot many changes have happened during this course of time. So it's quite interesting that you are actually putting forward some impactful project and you are gaining it. So this is a kind of example that I could tell you about the social impact projects.
Wonderful. And how do you measure this social impact? Do you have a framework in place, and how does it work?
Yeah, there are before the interventions, so we used to have baseline survey. Through that survey we'll understand what sort of the what the intervention needs to be placed in this community for this project. And during the course of the project, even midline assessment we used to have, and again after a period, probably 1 year or something, we'll have again assessment surveys and feedback surveys that will be taken to understand, I mean, how much impact that we have created in the communities. So that's what.
Right. And we often talk about the dignity, right?
Yes.
What did dignity mean to green moms?
As far as my experience in green rooms, having had social audits and other the kind of audits that we regularly have it here, so it is understood that we already put certain parameters towards dignity. So we have like our workers enrolled in payroll, they have minimum wages, and they also have ESI, PF benefits. And apart from that, we are trying to expand the scope of dignity. So the sector itself does not have anything at all. So initially we put in place all these things. Then after having the social audits, now I'm glad to let you know that we are planning to introduce ISO certification for our organization, basically not in terms of quality but also environmental safeguards and occupational health and safety standards. So through this process, we are trying to expand the scope of dignity, not just in terms of minimum wage and these things, but also we are trying to introduce certain welfare initiatives that caters the regular essential needs of our workforce.
Right. And health, right?
Yeah.
The waste workforce, let it be within the green norms or outside. The workers are highly vulnerable in terms of health issues.
Yes.
And how are we tackling it? How we are ensuring the safety?
When I joined Green Rooms, for the first time only I'm seeing the waste speakers are using proper uniforms, proper safe PP kits and all. That I have never I have lived in other cities as well, but I have never come across this sort of system that put in place in terms of waste management. So Greenworms has set an example to carry forward to everyone across the country. So these are quite essential. Having PPs during the waste collection, during the waste sorting, during the waste management. These are quite essential. Apart from that, we also need to check their health, mental well-being, all these things. So that's why in Greenworms we used to have health checkups at our facility to see the impact that they have, and any other essential aids needs to be met, that also we will be looking at. That's what.
Yeah. Right, green homes. We are so much obsessed with the community engagement. Tell me what's behind this obsession.
See, Greenworms, as you know, we already engage with several stakeholders. You know that in waste management, that the individual cannot, do the entire management of waste. So the community has to be put in place, and there needs to be, well educated, and each stakeholder in the community needs to be inculcated with the idea, with the real practice of waste management. So we often conduct several cleaning drives and other community initiatives which are intended to teach the student, teach the various members in the community to understand the impact, the understand the importance of managing their waste. So community initiatives are at the center of Greenrooms. At every LSGs and every sphere of our operations, we bring communities into the core, so that through this training, through this programs, activities, the impact would be very much visible, and it would be very much futuristic. So that's
Right.
why we put community in center.
Right. Tell me, what is under your leadership? What are the plans do you have for the future?
See, ours is an impact organization. As we know that we are working more than 80 villages, and we till now have more than 1,500 job holders in different segments. So we are aspiring to put work like in more than 300 villages in future, and obviously the impact and the number of job holders would also be in the rise. So we are seeing a huge impact. So we actually wanted to channelize this impact and put forward to a right path, so that the environment as well as the society will be benefited from this social enterprise.
Right. And that's interesting because Greenhouse, when started, it's small villages and the number has been increasing. And 300 villages sounds a terrific number, and that's where the data come in place. I think that sounds very interesting. So really appreciate the work you are doing, the contributions you are doing, and we need more professionals like you. And I look forward to hosting you again, and thanks for your time and joining us
Yeah, thank you, Akshay. Yeah.
for Clean Oceans.